The reason why I'm buying HBAR over Bitcoin is because I believe it has more room to grow at this point. Now, of course, nothing I say is financial advice nor guarantee, but if HBAR were to, let's say, go to the price of $3 during this bull run, that right there is around a 60x from here. And at that point, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $110 billion. So yeah, it's not that bad. But on the flip side, if let's say Bitcoin were to do a 60x from here, market cap would be around $70 trillion. Now that's considering current circulating supply, and the price of Bitcoin at that point would be around $3.5 million. Now, is that logical during this bull run? I don't really think so. I mean, come on. First of all, let's analyze the market cap it would have at that point. Nearly $70 trillion. That's kind of insane. I mean, you take a look at, for instance, the GDP of the UK was around $3 trillion back in 2022. And even if we take a look at, the GDP of America, aka the USA, back in 2022, it was around $25 trillion. So yeah, is it realistic for Bitcoin to do, let's say, a 60x during this bull run? Absolutely not. Even though I don't think Bitcoin is bad. For instance, I like the Bitcoin ETF. There's a lot of institutional investors for Bitcoin. I understand that. I think Bitcoin could hypothetically go to the price of $150,000 during this bull run. However, $3.5 million, absolutely not. Let alone $1 million. I don't think that's even possible during this bull run. In the long term, sure. But during this bull run, again, I don't think so. And if I'm just purely looking at this bull run, if I could only have one shot, putting all my eggs into one basket, would I choose HBAR or Bitcoin? Hands down HBAR. More room to grow. I think that, in terms of its use case, it's much more diverse when it comes to Bitcoin, because you take a look at Bitcoin, it's primarily just a store of value. Doesn't really have much of a diverse use case. I get it. There are Bitcoin layer 2s out there that kind of can give Bitcoin new use cases. But even despite that, I do believe that it's sort of limited, even though it is rare. A lot of institutional investors, enterprise adoption is fantastic. Even despite all that, I think HBAR is more diverse. And in terms of percentage increase, I just think it has a lot more to prove during this bull run. If I got in Bitcoin like 10 years ago, great. But as of right now, I'm taking a look at HBAR because let's face it, right? Not everyone has like millions upon millions to put in Bitcoin. A lot of people out there, they talk about going all in on Bitcoin, but if they have like 3-4 million, does a 2 or 3x, they're all good. If someone only has like 5,000, 10,000, really? 2-3x? Now, not financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying. And when it comes to HBAR, fundamentally, I think it's very amazing because you take a look at how it's the native cryptocurrency of the Hedera Hashgraph network. Now, the special thing about this is that it actually doesn't utilize blockchain. Instead, it uses something called a DAG, which is a directed acyclic graph. Now, this right here, people may think is caca, it's trash, but I disagree because compared to traditional blockchain technology, usually it's a lot faster, a lot more scalable, typically has improved data storage. And also on top of that, it's typically much more energy efficient as well. You take a look at how, per transaction on average, Hedera actually consumes less energy than Algorand, Avalanche, Solana, Ethereum, and many others, which is, of course, very amazing. But also on top of that, Hedera does have a fantastic governing council. You take a look at how, Google is part of their governing council, even IBM, LG, Ubisoft. I mean, we all know Ubisoft, it's known for gaming. We also take a look at Dell Technologies. I mean, of course, we all know that. And of course, many others. I mean, this is insane right here. I think sometimes people take a look at HBAR and they're saying, wow, the price is so caca compared to Bitcoin. But fundamentally, I mean, it's very amazing. And it's only natural that we see kind of, HBAR not doing the best as of right now, because typically when Bitcoin does have a pullback, usually altcoins, generally speaking, they go down by a lot more in terms of percentage. However, on the flip side, if Bitcoin does usually have that insane rally, let's say it has, major bull run, typically altcoins, they do go up by a lot more in terms of percentage. So that's why I'm such a big fan of HBAR. I'm in the world of cryptocurrencies to get potential gains. I'm not looking to get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, none of that. I'm looking into projects which I believe could very well be the next big thing. I'm looking for the next big thing again, right? I'm not looking for the big thing, if that makes sense. Unless I had like 10 million bucks or whatever like that, then yeah, sure, all in Bitcoin, who cares? But even if, let's say I had that much, I would still put at least like 90% into altcoins, because why not, man? I just feel like they have a lot more room to grow. At least that's in my opinion. And let's not forget about the excellent use cases for Hedera. It's even been listed that its use cases include, solutions for stable coins and as well as for auditing carbon markets and traceability, even functional use cases like for NFTs, DeFi, decentralized identity, and decentralized logs as well. So any way I view it, I think HBAR across the board is such a fantastic pick for me. And some people out there, again, seem to think that HBAR at the price of $3 is insane, even despite all that, which I don't think is crazy at all, by the way. But again, considering current circulating supply, just like I mentioned earlier on in the video, market cap would be around $110 billion, again, if it were to go to the price of $3. But that's not really ridiculous, because you take a look at, for instance, something like BNB reached over $100 billion in market cap. We've seen Ethereum reach over $500 billion in market cap. We've also even seen Dogecoin reach around $80 billion in market cap. So around $110 billion market cap, it's not too much to ask for. For instance, right, you take a look at something like BNB. At one point, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. That's not that great, man. And this just happened last year, by the way, back in 2023, according to Crypto.com research. So is the BNB smart chain ecosystem really that great? I don't know about that. If you take a look at HBAR, reaching over 100 billion, why is that a tall order? I don't think it's a tough task whatsoever. BNB could do it. Why can't HBAR do it as well? If Ethereum can go to over $500 billion in market cap, again, why can't HBAR at least go to around, 110 billion? It's not crazy. At least that's the way I view it. Now, you also have to take this into consideration. When it comes to the peak of the bull run, it's not going to happen like today or tomorrow. And I understand that, because I understand it takes some time. And that's why I'm focusing on things that I can control instead of things that I can't, because I can't, demand HBAR to pump like today or 2 weeks ago or right now. I can't do that again, right? Again, what I can do is control things like dollar cost averaging, not giving up, being consistent, staying patient. I can control that. However, I can't control the other factors, which is why that's what I'm sticking by. Again, right? Anytime or income, I'm just acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. Some people out there, they complain that, oh, wow, the portfolio's down, all this type of stuff. Take a look at how well Bitcoin is doing, relatively speaking. I understand that, but here's the thing. If my portfolio is down, the way I view it is that as long as I don't sell, it's actually an unrealized loss. Now, this is by no means financial advice, but as long as I don't sell, really, again, right, how is it a realized loss? I just don't get it. What I can do is either I can complain, or I can panic sell, which I definitely don't want to do, or I can pick up day trading using leverage or swing trading, which I definitely don't want to do that. So what am I going to do? Just take advantage, basically, of the low prices and just lower down my average cost. Because, again, I don't want to sell. I don't want to day trade. I don't want to, just randomly panic all the time. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to take advantage of it. And that's an amazing thing about dollar cost averaging, for me at least, because I'm focused on constant accumulation over an extended period of time. So anytime on income, just acquiring, holding, and just waiting, that's it. I'm not trying to day trade. Again, I'm not trying to do any of that type of stuff, because I view myself as a simple guy, as a practical individual, and I believe nothing is more practical and simple for me than dollar cost averaging, because it quite essentially removes all the emotion from, doing this. And anything done in a high emotional state typically is not going to result in good things, which is why, again, I try to stay calm by dollar cost averaging, because around a year from right now, things could look so different. I mean, really, even historically speaking, this has pretty much been the case. You take a look at how, probably in October of next year, we could very well see altcoins as a worst case scenario peaking. Now, why is that? It's because we all know that around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event is typically as a worst case scenario when altcoins peak. And the Bitcoin halving event happened back in April. So you take that into consideration. Again, that's why I use that date, October of 2025, around that time. It's not just some random date that I picked up from a hat and said, yeah, it's that time. No, right? But even if I have a year from right now to, let's say, accumulate more, it's not bad, because let's say I like something at a store and I want to keep buying it, but then the price is low. Let's say I love polo shirts. Let's say the store, one day dropped the price 40%. And if I like the shirt, why would I keep buying it, right? It just makes no sense if I can afford it, at least. Instead of saying, oh, wow, the price dropped, that means it's bad. That means it's caca. Well, if nothing fundamentally bad happened to it, why would I assume that? You take a look at HBAR, what fundamentally bad thing happened to it? You got to think about this. Even despite the price not being the best, it's not an accurate representation as to how well it's actually doing. So I think sometimes people are under this misconception that low prices equals bad fundamentals, but not for me. When I see something like HBAR, I'm just going to take advantage of it, just continue to accumulate. And again, why would I not wait? There's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, which at first glance may seem like kind of an arbitrary number. They're like, okay, there's billions upon billions of people in this world. Who cares about this? But back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. So now we basically have double that amount. Could you imagine the increased FOMO, buying pressure, and buying volume this time around? Especially with the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors going to be through the roof. As Bitcoin does reach 100,000, 150,000, I think altcoins much like HBAR, they're going to go along with the ride. Now, again, I don't own any Bitcoin and I don't want to own any Bitcoin. However, in my opinion, a lot of altcoins in many cases do depend on how well Bitcoin is doing. So I don't think Bitcoin doing well is a bad thing. Again, 150,000, I don't think that's crazy at all during this bull run with all those amazing factors. And HBAR doing around a 60x going to the price of $3 during this bull run, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think Hedera has amazing A-plus fundamentals. I think Bitcoin has a bright future ahead, even though I don't think it can go to like $1 million, let's say, under 50,000. Highly realistic, in my opinion, hypothetically speaking. So, again, combined with over 600 million crypto owners, this bull run could be so fantastic. Again, HBAR at the price of $3, I don't see why not. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.